Welcome everybody, this is Syreyne, game director for WoW, Horde and Alliance side, and we are here to talk about World of Warcraft on the Horde side. So if you saw the stream yesterday, Fez ran you through the Alliance. Today we're going to run you through the Horde. I'm totally muting Max in Discord because it keeps popping up. Anyway, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys have seen all the lovely stream events that we did, and had a chance to check out the town hall that was recorded Friday night. So yeah, check it all out. So here, we'll get started. So the first thing you'll see on my stream is Battlenet. So when you go to play WoW, the first thing you're going to do is you'll get this Battlenet Launcher. And it's kind of cool, and it's kind of fun, and it's got all kinds of stuff. They give you all the headlights of everything that's going to be happening. It tells you over on the side all the different games you can play. You can see I play Overwatch. You got some other games on here as well. Diablo, everything else, which is not installed. I'm sorry, I don't play Diablo. But the other thing you want to notice is here's the different versions of World of Warcraft. So like I can go to Classic or I can go to regular Warcraft, and then here's where your accounts are. So like I can go to my secondary account, which is not activated, you can tell because it says subscription expired, or you can go to the starter edition account if you have one. So I'm actually going to log us into the starter edition first, and we're going to check out how to start playing in WoW. So here you can see when you first log in, this is the starter account. We can click in all kinds of different things. So up here, of course, you got your gender, male, female, however you want to play. We're going to play Horde, which we have here is all the starter classes. And you can also be a Pandaren. So the cool thing about Pandaren, the way they're down here, is that they can be Horde or Alliance. So the Pandaren have their own starter area that they have, and then when you get to the end of the starter area, you choose whether you want to be Horde or be Alliance based on whatever you want to do. So there's a whole like story arc for one versus the other at the end that kind of tells you which way to go if you want, and that's actually really kind of cool. So the other thing that can help you out is there's a button over here that says more info. So when you click on that, it actually pops up and tells you, so like I have an orc highlighted, and it tells you all the different stuff on the race over here, info that you need to know. And then over here is your classes. So warrior, it tells you like all the different stuff a warrior can be and like sample abilities. So you can just click, change, read whatever you want to read here and whatever you want to read over here. So you can kind of take a look at them and decide, you know, what you think you want to play. And it's totally up to you. I went through a whole bunch of different characters. I have tons of alts. You'll see when I switch back over to my main account, it's ridiculously crazy. But today, I'm actually gonna do a Blood Elf. We're gonna run through the Blood Elf starting area. So if anybody listening wants to kind of run through it with us, you can. But I think I'm gonna be let's see. I'm gonna go with a Warlock. Let's go with the Warlock today. So once you decide what you're gonna be, we're gonna hit Customize. So this is where you can pick hair, face, color, earrings. Over here, there's the different options you can be to create one, and you can kind of pick your own look. If you really have no idea, you can also hit Randomize, and every time it'll just random something different. So then you can just decide, oh, you know what? That one looks kind of cool, or that one. And you can just random through. Then down here, the next thing you have to do is pick a name. So the names are two per server, so you can't have the same name as somebody else on the same server. And Earthen Ring is one of those servers that's kind of full, but actually I should check. Am I even on Earthen Ring? I am not. Aha! Realm list. I'm glad I said something, or I would have been going, what is going on? There we go. Somebody should have caught that on the stream and said something. No, I'm kidding. Yes, so Kip brought up a good point on the Twitch stream. You could totally use the barbershop to change it later if you want to. If you decide that you didn't quite like what you did. Yep, they have barbershops in-game now where you can change your hair and all that stuff. So that's a cool feature that they've added in. Oh my gosh, these names are so long. There we go. I made up a name. At least we'll know it's me. So anyway, once you get to this point on the Starter Edition, you can see you can upgrade the game here. So if you decide you want to buy the game, you can buy it through here. You can also go to the shop and purchase it here. As you can see, I have everything purchased on other accounts. There's also pets you can buy, mounts, and toys. So if you really get into the game and want to spend a little bit of money, you can buy that stuff. None of that is required for anything, so don't feel like you have to do all that.
Bless you.
That was Spork in the background. So here what I did is I disabled all the add-ons. Obviously I have a lot of add-ons because I do a lot of in-game stuff, but for this purpose I'm actually going to disable the add-ons. Bless you. And just for this character, so you guys can see what the stock version of WoW actually looks like. And then you get the awesome cutscene.
The past few years have seen unprecedented changes within the eternal land of Quel'Thalas. The Blood Elves, following the will of their crazed leader Kael'thas Sunstrider, channeled dangerous, chaotic magics to transform their sacred Sunwell into a gateway of unspeakable evil. While Kael'thas and his demonic masters were eventually defeated, a different kind of transformation occurred within the Sunwell itself, as a dying Naru sacrificed its life essence to reignite the Sunwell into a fount of holy energy. Now, the Blood Elf Regent Lorthamar Theron sees a new hope on the horizon for his people. Over time, the Sunwell's light could cure the Blood Elves of their cursed state, but many still cling to the arcane powers they've procured and are hesitant to relinquish them. As one of the remaining Blood Elves, you must fight to protect Quel'Thalas and help redeem the soul of your ancient people.
So here we are. So that was the intro to the Blood Elves. All the races have their own intro like that, based on where they go, which is kind of cool. And my hair looks funny because apparently I'm standing in somebody else, so we'll just scooch over a little bit. So Blizzard has added this in, which is kind of nice, and it tells you kind of, it's like a helper. So right click on the exclamation point to get your first quest. As you can see, here's the original action bars, our backpack, and all that fun stuff. So over here in this bottom right hand corner, you can go to your character, and this is where you can equip your gear. So they start you off with the bare basics. Here's all your attributes. Titles, these are all my titles if you have, you know, if you've earned anything in the game. The second one is your spellbook and abilities. So this is all the spellbook and abilities. So they've added this nice system. It says click to toggle on and off for the help system. So you can click this on or off, and it tells you, you can highlight over the eyes, so it says to drag, you know, your abilities over there. And then these are your current abilities. So like the first tab is general. So this is all the stuff that your race gets inherently. So you know, auto attack, arcane torrent, passives. The passives you don't have to put in your bar because there's stuff that just happens. And then it starts you off as affliction. So I have Shadow Bolt. That is the only ability I have right now. So as you can see, so if you use your mouse wheel, you can kind of scroll in and out. It kind of zooms you out and stuff. I kind of like to have the wide view. It just makes things a little bit easier to see kind of where you're going. And then the other thing you have up in the upper right hand corner is your mini map. So this tracking, you can track flight masters, quests, stuff like that, pets if you like to pet battle. You can zoom in and out on the mini map, and then you can also show the calendar. So the calendar is kind of cool. Blizzard has all of these weekly events going on, and then you can see right now Midsummer Festival, Fire Festival is going on. So when they have different events and stuff, you can kind of see them on here. And you can see the first week of the month they have Dark Moon Fair, which is so much fun. And you can ride the carousel or the roller coaster and get a buff that increases your XP that you gain. So they have added a lot of really cool stuff into the game over the years, and those are just a few of them that is like just really kind of cool to check out.
What business have you?
So you can see here, you can read through the text of it. Here's the objectives. So we have to kill 6 mana worms, and then we'll get a new belt. So you just left click accept, and there you go. So like it says, M opens the map, which I can't use when I'm pressing Alt because that's music. So they've really kind of self-explained a bunch of things when you get started, which is actually really kind of nice to do to help people out. So the I keep talking. The things that you want to do though, the very first thing you want to do, and a lot of people don't know this, which is kind of silly that it's not turned on, but if you go to the the question mark, the game menu, this is all the menu. So here's your system. If you need to adjust your graphics, if you need to adjust your sound levels, everything, that's where you do that in here. But if you go to interface, here's where you have controls, action bars, nameplates inherently into the game. So the first thing I always tell people to do is go to interface, go to controls, and click auto loot. What this does is when you loot, it automatically goes in your bags. Otherwise, it doesn't auto loot, and then you end up running back to go pick up something shiny because you forgot about it. So there's just a bunch of, here's different displays, things that you can adjust however you want. Like I don't like chat bubbles, so I can turn those off. Social, you can block trades, block guild invites, which I hope you don't, because I hope you're doing AIE, but that's beside the point. And different things here that you can do. And then action bars. So this is the other thing is, as you get along through the game, you actually get more and more abilities that you end up having to do. And it basically, you'll fill this whole bar down here, and then you'll be like, oh no, but I ran out of space. So what you can do is you can actually click to add action bars, and I'm adding some over here that you can't see right now, but if I click this, then you can see there's bars here and here, and then I've added 2 bars over here. So this kind of gives you an extra way of adding more space to everything. And Fez is here. Hi Fez, we're gonna wave at Fez. We're just gonna click on Fez and then you can type it in. Yay, we waved at Fez. Yes, I know, thank you. I'm going to unlock this window, maybe? Maybe it won't let me unlock the window. So over here in this corner is your chat window. You can unlock it and move it however you want to move it. You can also change your font. So like me, who's half blind, sometimes I can change the font to the big one. And then sometimes I have a hard time reading what's in the background. So you can actually adjust the background color to kind of fill it in a little bit, and it makes the text stand out a little bit more, makes it easier to see. So that's just kind of the stuff that you can do with the chat channels and stuff, and there's all kinds of settings for that. So as you can see, I tried to invite Fez to my group, but starter accounts can't invite people to groups. So there is some stuff with the starter account that you can't do. You can't join guilds or anything like that. And they only go, I think, to level 20. So it makes it, it's basically lets you get a sample of the game, but you don't actually get to do all of the gameplay. I mean, you get to do all the gameplay, but you don't get all of the benefits of doing it, and you won't be able to do the in-game content. So when they say it's a starter edition, it really is just a starter edition. It's kind of to pull you in. Yay, we're looting stuff. Oh, haha, Fez invited me to his group. Okay, that's cool. So while we're killing these, what you can tell up here, it might be a little hard to see. It says 5 of 6 slain, but over here in this area, if I can get to a spot where you can read it, here's where you have your quests. You can turn your objectives on and off, and it says reclaiming the Sunstrider Isle. I have 5 of 6 of them slain. So that's your like quest objectives. That's where you can tell where they're at. So you can see I have now killed 6 of 6 and I've reached level 2. Woohoo!
Yes!
Woohoo!
I don't know how many more Fizz needs though. You guys can talk too. Don't let me feel like I'm the only one talking here.
Hi.
Hi, Gusty. Just randomly says hi. So, now that we're in a party, you can see over here, you can do /P for party. And you'll be able to talk in party chat. So, now we just get to run back and turn our quest in. And you can see there's a question mark. So our quest giver went from having a yellow exclamation part to a gray one to now a yellow question mark because we're done. So now we gotta collect 8 Lynx collars. Ooh.
Be ready for anything.
So, once you get your quest rewards, so you go to your character and you can see like waist, we have nothing. I don't have a belt on. So we're gonna take this belt and we're gonna equip it. And now we have a belt. And now we're gonna go kill cats. Not the good cats, these are the bad cats. I don't know if they're bad cats or not. I'm just saying that. Oh no. No, they're killing the kitty cats. Not the cub. 1 of 8. Woohoo! Oh, my camera is gonna drive me insane. I don't remember what that button is. Aha, got it. It's so quiet in here. Yay, we got a cloak. I wonder if there's a way to turn that tutorial off.
I think there is.
I don't remember how. Anyway.
I can't remember if it's an interface or something.
It might be an interface. That's a good question. So anyway, as you can see, there's a lot of different stuff. There's quests. Blizzard has done a really good job about helping people out to learn how to do the game, which is kind of nice. Ooh, level 3. Ooh, I got corruption. So the other thing that Blizzard does now is that they put your abilities, as you level up, you gain abilities, and they automatically add them to your action bar for you. So you don't have to add them to yourself anymore. But it adds like everything to your action bar. So sometimes you might have to move some stuff around because say you make a priest and you do the healing spells and the damage spells, and maybe you want your healing spells off to one side. So you could move your controls over. So you can click like shift. If you hold shift down and click on an ability, you can actually move it around on your bars and place it somewhere else. So this is kind of a nice little area. This is the Blood Elf area, which I really like for the Horde.
Our enemies
But
will
Blood Elves
fall.
didn't come out until
Death to all who
the
oppose
Burning
us.
Crusade. They
PC?
were a
The
new
Burning
one that came in. Yeah. And now now you can see we turned that quest in. If you look at the minimap, now we have a whole series of quests where we can pick up multiple quest lines. So we can do that, pick up all these different quests and do all that stuff. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of this character and we're going to go take a look at another one. Just so you can kind of get an eye. Oh, hey Max! There's Max. As he ran all the way over here. But we're going to go check out a few more and kind of get an idea of kind of the different things that you can play in WoW. Like I said, everything is all very helpful and self-explanatory. Blizzard's done a very good job with that sort of thing. But we're going to actually go take a look at a few other characters. So I'm going to log out real quick. And we're gonna go make one more character and see another starting area, which is actually kind of cool. And then what I'll do is I'll switch over to the main account and show you some of the stuff that in the world that we can do once you gain a few levels and stuff like that. Hi everybody on the stream. Alright, so we're actually going to make an undead because I think the undead starting area in this storyline is very, very cool. So let's go with... Should I go with a rogue or a priest? What do you guys think? You guys are so quiet. Oh,
Hey,
I see Rogue. Okay, a vote for Rogue.
I came into this kind of late. Is this classic, or are you just going through starting areas of starter accounts?
So I'm playing retail. This is just the starter account. So for people that want to check out WoW who maybe not have a game, they can see what the starter account looks like. And then what I'll do is I'll be logging into my main account and showing some more of the zones and gameplay and stuff.
Cool, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Ooh, gotta have the Bride of Frankenstein look. Alright.
Or something like Lilian. Is Voss.
So, what I've heard for Shadowlands is that they're actually changing the undead. You can change how much of the skin and bones you can actually display. So that'll be kind of cool. It also helps if I can spell rogue correctly.
No, Rouge!
Did I spell it wrong? No, I didn't. I spelled it right. Don't throw me off like that, Gusty.
You're the one who said you spelled it wrong.
I know.
We're used to seeing it spelled Rouge. I made a bet with myself that I was gonna donate 1 silver to the guild bank every time you mispronounced something.
Oh no. That's gonna be a lot of gold.
Though Lady Sylvanas and her Forsaken finally took
Now, the one thing, if you're new to WoW and you decide to join WoW, the dues to join AIE's Horde side is 1 left shark. If you don't have a left shark, you just whisper it into guild chat. Someone will give you one, but those go to Syreyne.
to calamitous effect. Unbeknownst to Sylvanas, Putris and his
And how many left sharks do we have to date, Sai?
Undercity. As a result, the Forsaken were wrongly blamed for the traitors'
450
atrocities.
plus, I think.
Though the Undercity was eventually retaken, Sylvanas and her followers still bear the weight of Putris' sins.
So what about baby sharks?
Mistrusted by the other members of the Horde, the Forsaken must now prove their loyalty to the cause. And
Now that
redeem
song is
themselves
stuck
from
in my
their
head. I
supposed
hate you so
treachery.
much right now.
To this end, Sylvanas
Notice that she hates me right now, but she didn't hate me for instituting, 450 left sharks being sent to her.
As one of the Forsaken, you must use your cunning.
I've sent her a left shark.
To slay any who would
Thanks.
At least one.
Sylvanas' rule, be they human, undead, or
Ooh,
otherwise.
I'm lying there dead. Aha! Tutorials. There we go.
AFK for a little bit, taking my son to work, but I will return.
Yay! Alright. Oh, I thought I turned tutorials off. Aw, you silly. Alright, so you can see here, we're on our rogue. And the lovely Agatha, as always. You'll see her quite a bit in game. She makes quite a few appearances, especially if you follow the quest line and arcs with Sylvanas and stuff. So she's a player. As Max just got to the Blood Elf starting area and we ditched him, I feel bad. I mean, I should feel bad.
That's why you go on a mage.
Right. Alright, so... Okay, we have to find thick embalming fluid and torch stitching twine. That sounds like so much fun. From the Shadow Grave. Shadow Grave. Is that inside here? I think that's inside the... Spooky Crypt. Hey, I found it! I should say Fez found it and I followed him. A Drop Dead Fez? Ah! I love the name. That is awesome. As we go back out. Drop Dead Fez. Oh, that kills me.
And you are...
Ooh, kill 6 mindless zombies. So I haven't been reading the full quest text, obviously. I've done these like 50 million times. But if you're new to the game, really read these. Sometimes they put cute little things in there. Sometimes you get some really funny little quips and stuff, and it's actually quite entertaining. And the other thing you can do is, but they have achievements in the game, and you can go through and read some of the achievements. Some of the names of the achievements are spoofs on all kinds of stuff. Like the first rule of Ring of Blood is you don't talk about the Ring of Blood. Obviously a spoof of Fight Club, but yeah, there's all kinds of different ones in here, and take a look at some of them. Just read through them if you get time, because they're absolutely hilarious. Blizzard's done a real cute job of just making things a little more entertaining for the players. So the cool thing about Undead is they have a couple abilities that other people don't have. So they have like Will of Forsaken that removes charms for sleeps. Gnomes have something similar with their get out of jail free type card. But Undead is the only one that really has this ability. It's called Cannibalize. So you can actually eat a corpse of somebody you recently killed to gain health back. They are the only race in the game that has the ability to do that. Obviously some of the classes can self-heal, like priests and paladins and stuff, but yeah, go Undead. Yeah, hit level 2.
What do you require? Farewell.
Ooh, there's a battle pit. So you can tell when there's a battle pit, you see these little creatures and you hover over them, and they have the big green paw. That means you can actually fight them in a battle. And you can actually collect them if you have enough battle pets. So you can get started in buying battle pets from the main city. They give you a quest that lets you actually be able to battle pet. And then you can actually see all your battle pets in this collections tab. So there's mounts, pets, toys, heirlooms, appearances. This is where all this stuff kind of lingers. So you can see, oh, my battle pets are dead. Gusty will shoot me.
You can access that with Shift P as well.
Starter editions can't battle pet. What? No. I'm sad now.
Otherwise known as WoW Pokemon.
Yeah. I am running.
Speak quickly. Victory for Sylvanas.
Another huge NPC for the undead that you will see throughout your entire WoW career is Lilian Voss.
I'm listening.
She is, she's around pretty much in everything.
Beware the living.
However, it does not always start off great for Lilian, so we're gonna go to her last because I'll show you. No, I don't want to join the undead. So like I said, Lilian is around in the game in several ways. She's a boss in one of the dungeons because she gets mind
Skullments.
controlled. And she's in the rogue class hall, which I'll show you later. And she's actually pretty prominent all the way through, so she's still very active in the game right now. But we'll just run through this real quick because she did not appreciate being undead to start with.
What is it you ask?
Get away from me, you're abomination. The undead are a taint upon Azeroth. Every one of you creatures deserves to be destroyed. But you're undead yourself.
There is much to be done.
No, you're lying. My father will protect me. And she runs away. As I get stuck on a gravestone. Because, you know, that happens. Don't you hate when that happens? Get stuck on a gravestone.
What is it? Trust no one.
If I had a nickel for every time, am I right?
So, I know a lot of people are watching. I know a bunch of you guys are in Discord. Does anybody have any questions or on anything like starting stuff? The controls are all pretty simple. WASD, that sort of thing. And like I said, Blizzard likes to help out with controls when they can. The biggest thing is that everything kind of has its own unique storyline. So I have a lot of alts because I like to see the story. So I have at least one of every race, one of every class at some point, just because I like going through and seeing the storyline. So you'll find me playing a Horde or Alliance. I raid on both sides. It's a lot of fun to see the raids and stuff on the Alliance side versus the Horde side because you can see the different storylines. So like especially in this last expansion, Battle for Azeroth, the storylines for the new raids and stuff were so crazy with Jaina being the final boss. So obviously in the Horde you're trying to kill Jaina, but on the Alliance side when you play that quest line, you're actually reliving memories of what the Horde did. So you actually, your characters turn into the equivalent Horde characters, races, and then that's how you do that raid. So that was something really kind of cool that Blizzard did with this expansion as far as raiding and the ability to like scope everything out. Vendors. Fez asked for a vendor. I believe the vendors are in one of these buildings. Yep.
What is it?
So you can sell stuff to the vendor. That's a good point. I should show that. See, Fez did this yesterday on the Alliance side, and yes, I have a lot of alts, Airbuck. You're correct. So the cap per account is 50, and I am capped at 50 on my main account. I have to keep going to randomly delete some every time I start a new alt. So what we can do is we can sell stuff to the vendor. So you click on a vendor. If the vendor, when you hover over it, has the little anvil thing, that means you can actually do repairs. So you can click over here to repair, which I haven't taken any damage, so I don't have anything to repair right now. You can also buy stuff from them if you have enough gold, and you can also sell stuff to them. So you can show, like right here is where it shows your gold, which is not gold right now because we're too low of a level. So I have 76 copper, which, you know, I could buy a weapon, but it seems kind of silly too.
Embrace the shadow.
But there's other vendors, if I find one, which I might not be able to at the moment. They have, when you hover over them, they have just a bag, like this guy right here. So he has just the bag. So when they have just the bag, you can notice that the repair part is gone. You can't actually repair anything, but you can buy food and drink. So food increases your health, not increases, replenishes your health, and drinks replenish your mana if you're a class that uses mana. Rogues do not use mana, they use energy. But like priests, I just keep saying a lot and I'm just stop, that's okay. Priests, mage, basically spellcasters, a lot of them use mana. So here is the rogue trainer. So back in the day, you used to have to pay for your skills and pay to learn how to trade them. So if anybody plays classic now, you find that you run out of money pretty quick early on because you're buying all of your skills and abilities. You can see Lilian is hiding in the corner, scared. But Blizzard did away with that in retail. So you actually don't have to pay for your abilities or your skill ups anymore. You just automatically get them. So that's kind of a nice quality of life thing that they changed, that they made, that you don't have to buy and use all your starting money to do all that sort of thing anymore. Oh, I'm in combat. Why am I in combat?
Where are you guys at now?
We are in Death Kill.
I'm out of range.
Hey look, we're collecting corpses. So each type of class has its own mechanics and its own abilities. So as you saw in the Warlock, was a spellcaster. Priests are spellcasters that can also heal. You can see Fez is on a warrior, so he has a charge ability that lets him zoom in and attack stuff, which are melee. Rogues are melee based too. So the thing with rogues is that every time they attack something, they get combo points. And then as you build your combo points up, you use a finisher ability. Like currently I have Eviscerate. So when you go here, you can see the more combo points you have, the more damage Eviscerate does when you pop that ability. Running through the countryside because it's so much fun. I have no idea where Fez ran off to.
What would you ask of death? What is it?
Yay, we did!
Victory for somebody.
What is it?
Ooh, we get to go talk to Lilian again. Woohoo! So, as you can see, we got a couple items here in our bags. The nice thing is that there's shortcut keys for a lot of stuff. So if you hover over an item and press shift, you can see what is currently equipped versus what is in your bags. And then, so you can see if something is an item upgrade really quick. So you can see I just picked up the Scavenger Tunic. And it has one additional armor than the one I'm wearing. So I'm going to switch those out. You can just right click on it in your bags and it'll switch it for you. So we're actually going to go back over here where we had some vendors and we're going to vendor that extra stuff.
I am forsaken.
And get a few more copper.
Farewell.
The other thing you notice is throughout the game you'll find what's called mailboxes. Starter accounts don't really get to use the mailbox feature, but anybody with a regular retail account does. And you can send mail to other people, or you can open mail that you receive. So you can send things to somebody else in game, like a friend of yours. and it takes an hour for anything with an attachment to go through. Anything that's just like text is instantaneous. And if you're in the same guild, it's also instant. So that's a benefit that they put in for being in the same guild.
I haven't got all day. Embrace the shadow.
Starter edition cannot invite characters to group. Oh, I'm group lead. Fez is not group lead. Fez can invite people. Oh look, there's Airbuck.
But I'm not in the right phase.
Oh, yep. So, one of the things to help players from being killed and stuff by higher level enemies is the starter areas are all phased, but they're also protected by high level guards. As you can see, they included this party sync ability, which is actually really new. That just came out not too long ago. So that's kind of a cool ability. If you have friends that want to help you with quests and stuff, you can party sync to the quest that you're on, and then they can relive those quests if they've already done them. Where am I going? I'm trying to find Airbot. There's Airbuck. Yay! I've been buffed. I don't know why I've been buffed, but I've been buffed. Ooh. Did I miss a quest up here somewhere? See a quest popped up on my map. I was like, no.
I am forsaken.
Did we already do this?
Oh, I think it's because I didn't, and that's what Party Sync does.
It did. Oh, that's cool. Savage cache of goods. That's kind of cool.
Actually, what's really neat is I get 27 gold for doing this.
Seriously, you get that much gold for doing this?
Yep.
Wow. I need to start tagging along with low-level people, apparently. Good grief.
It's too far away.
No, with Party Sync, my gear is significantly limited.
Yeah, I can see you're not instantly killing anything. Where's my poison? I just saw your thing, max level. I don't know how many max level characters I have anymore.
Is it over or under 40?
Definitely under 40. You have 40 max level characters?
41 and one sitting at 110.
Wow.
I'm a nerd.
Okay.
Speak quickly. Trust no one.
And you are. Dark Lady, watch over.
Ooh, talk to Lilian again. Ooh. Whoa, that's cool. So that cash I just got from questing with you got me a green level dagger. That's awesome.
Well, and the nice thing about Party Sync, like there are a couple like log jams where it's not easy. The quests that you're doing are not easy. I think of starting Najatar, which is one of the catch-up mechanics at a low eye level or low, with basically 120 base gear. It's not easy to do. And so by having this in, you can have somebody help you out who, you know, is willing to kind of go through it again, and they get rewarded.
There you are, Lilian.
I live my life in the shadows.
You're my hero in the Rogue Hall,
What? Oh.
Lilian Voss.
Yeah, I know. The Rogue class hall is still one of my favorites.
I agree. I mean, it's no Paladin Hall, but, you know.
Yeah, hey. Rogues are cool, yo.
Hello? Do not seek death.
Ooh, I got boots this time. So, as you can see, some items have different colors around them. White and gray items are common trash, basically. If you don't have anything in that slot, put it in there. Otherwise, they're like vendor trash. Green is what they call uncommon, so it usually has a couple extra things to it. It's a little bit better quality. As you can see, my dagger that's white has nothing, and the green one adds 2 agility, 2 stam, crit, and haste. So the next one up from a green quality is a blue, which is like a rare quality item, so it's going to obviously have better stats. And then you have purple, which is like an epic quality, and then you have orange, or gold, depending on how you look at it, and those are legendaries.
I am forsaken. Remember, patience, discipline.
No, they're killing things.
One other nice thing they've done is they've made it where, like back in the day, we would have had to kill 12 of these scavengers to get all of our paws, whereas now we kill 4 and we can all share that paw.
Yeah, it's gotten better as far as drop rates for quests.
And you don't even have to be in a group for that. So if you're doing dailies, if you help kill something with another Horde player, even if you're not in a group with them, you can get a chance to loot it.
So I don't know if you guys just caught that on the stream, but rogues have an ability called stealth. It greatly reduces the amount to be seen by enemies, so you can sneak by them. And it gives you a different action bar. So what you want to do is make sure when you have stuff like that, there's different warriors used to have different stances. Druids have different forms, and so you always want to double check that when you switch into that, that you add your stuff to your action bar. So like when I stealthed the first time, I didn't have anything on my action bar to attack with from stealth, so I had to move Sinister Strike over. Oh, I'm ready to turn my quest in. Where are you guys going?
I don't know. I was following Fez.
Oh. And I'm running. Errors flying and cheating. But as you can see, the gameplay is really kind of cool. They've done a lot of stuff with it. There's a lot of different starting zones. There's a troll orc area. Taurens have their own starting area. Goblins have their own starting area. Pandas have their own starting area. And you can get a feel of, you know, what you like to play and be able to play it. But so what I wanted to do is I kind of took this first hour and kind of show you how the gameplay works, and you can kind of see how the starting area works. And Blizzard, like I said, Blizzard did a really good job with the starter accounts of kind of telling you how to do everything and how to work everything. which was really nice. I like how they did that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch over to my main account so that you guys can see what it actually looks like when you have the ability to have all of your stuff. So I'm not really going to keep this character, so we're going to just log out real quick. So you can see there's like 20 seconds to log out, because I'm not in a rested area. So if I cancel that and I go find the inn, which should be where the mailbox is, possibly, maybe, might not have one in the starter area. Don't see one here. Maybe in this building. I don't think so. I don't think we have rested XP here. Oh yeah, good point. What happens when we die? I need to go find something that kills me. Hang on a second. I don't know why I'm bothering to loot, but... So as you can see, I'm getting beat up over here. My health is going down. Not as significantly as I was hoping. Oh no! I've pulled too many ghouls. The ghouls are gonna kill me. You can see it flashes right at you. Like, ah! And I died. So you can hit recap and it'll tell you what you died from. Obviously I died to 50 million melee hits from the ghouls. And then you release your spirit. And what happens is you end up at a graveyard. So this is what the graveyards look like, and I'm dead. I am a ghost. I can move back to my location of my corpse, or I can speak to the spirit healer and resurrect. If I go talk to the spirit healer to resurrect... Oh, she doesn't do it. Oh, probably after 10. So once you get to like level 10 or something, you actually take gear damage from resurrecting at the spirit healer. You lose 10% of your gear's durability, which means you have to go repair it. Or you can just run back to your corpse if you can find it, and then get rezzed. It's hard to see, but that's my skeleton from where I died. You can see I was like dead. So, they have added more graveyards to the game since I first started playing back in BC. There are a lot more of them. The runbacks aren't quite as bad as what they used to be. They used to be pretty brutal, but yeah, so that's also another quality of life thing that they've done, which is really kind of nice. So we're gonna hop out of the starter edition here. I'm gonna switch over to my main account so you can kind of see what the differences are. Does anybody, you guys, I'm like all this talking and stuff. Does anybody have any questions? You guys are all like so quiet in Discord. So, the other thing you can do is if you really don't like a character that you've created, like I started a rogue and you're like, ugh, I really don't like this, you can delete it. And Blizzard definitely want to make sure that you confirm that you delete it, because you can't really get your characters back. I think they've added a way to get characters back now, but you have to go through your Battlenet online and request it and try to recover it, and it's not always guaranteed. So we're going to go ahead and launch the game again off of my main account, so we'll see what kind of shenanigans we can get into. So you can see my main account, I have a lot of characters on Earthen Ring. A lot of 110s and 120s. So, of course you got your Horde and Alliance symbols over here to tell who is who. So I'm actually going to log into my Rogue, and I'm going to show you a couple of cool things to do. So you can see the Syreyne. This is like my main Horde tune, the first one I've had. And the outfit she's wearing is actually the heirloom set for Blood Elves. So if you haven't collected that yet, that set is pretty cool. I don't have all of them. I do have some though. So I have the Dark Iron set from my Paladin. And then I have this one for the Syreyne Elves, which is also pretty cool, I think. So I like those ones on those characters because I think they look pretty neat.
Wow. So I got a green item while I was party synced with you. I got back into, regular mode. It's a 280 item.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So I'm gonna actually go to Dalaran because we kind of were talking about the Rogue class hall. When they did Legion, which was the expansion before the one we're in right now, they did what they called class halls, and people from all over could be in your class hall. They didn't have to be in a group or your guild or anything, but only that class can get into that class hall. So only Paladins can go in the Paladin class hall, only Rogues can go in the Rogue class hall. And it kind of made for a unique experience, and then you could get specific class mounts and everything, which I thought was really kind of cool. So the class mount for Rogue obviously is the Shadowblade's Murderous Omen. My game lagged a little bit, so I'm gonna have to redo that. Let's see if I can do it without. Here we go. So you can see the shadowy crows. I really like this mount, especially for the Rogue. I think it's very, very fitting. So, the Rogue class hall is kind of neat, because, it's very, very sneaky. So,
Looking for something specific.
I have to lay my insignia on the table, and the wall opens. So I think that's just kind of cool how they did all sneaky with the Rogue class hall. And if you've played any WoW at all, the Rogue class hall actually took up, some of the Dalaran sewers. So you can see all the different types of sneaky sneaks in the game. And the Rogue class hall has a black market liaison, so you can do the black market auction house, which is kind of cool. So as you can see on this screen, my screen is very, very different than what you saw on the starter screen, because I have a bunch of add-ons, obviously. And the add-ons, you can use them and you can not use them. They're not really required, but they are kind of like a quality of life thing. So like you can see how my action bars down here are all stacked up nice and neat. They're smaller, they take up less space. That's Bartender. That's a very popular add-on, and there's other ones that do the same thing. You can see my UI with where before I had the portrait up here. That's gone. This is my shadowed unit frames. Scada that tells my DPS. Voodoo. I use that for, you know, unit frames and healing on healing characters. And everything is very customizable. There's a lot of add-ons out there. There's a lot of stuff that does things with UIs. But everything kind of got switched over to Twitch, which is now getting switched over to somebody else in a couple of months. But currently, to get mods and add-ons for WoW, you would actually go to Twitch and download them. And once you download them, then you just log into the game, and then you can configure them however you want to. So, like I said, this is the rogue one. You can see we have our goblins, because you know they love their riches. A lot of famous roguey types like to hang around in here, and you can talk to them. Your blood sale, I can recruit some pirates to work for me. This is the scouting map from Legion, which is now on the boat in BFA, so you can do all this sort of thing. And look who we found! It's Lilian Voss again.
I live my life in the shadows.
And she's here too in Legion. So this is kind of cool. The other kind of cool thing with the Rogue class hall is there's more than one entrance. So a lot of the class halls, they only have one way to get in. You either take a portal, or you can fly there. But the Rogue class hall actually has multiple entrances, and they're all kind of hidden, which I think is kind of cool. You can tell I like rogues. Just saying. So here we end up at the mining trainer. Of course, you see the door knocker there. You talk to the vendor, subtly flash your insignia, and then you can click the doorknob and you go back in. So that's two of the entrances. I know I shouldn't be telling all these rogue secrets. And then there's another one up here. And then this one you end up in the wine and cheese vendor. You can see that one there. So there's entrances all around Dalaran over here, which is actually kind of cool. And they did a lot of cool things with the class halls, if you give them a try. Shaman is in the Maelstrom, Paladins is in the Chapel of Light, Warlocks are in their own, like, Legion-y demonic realm, which is actually kind of cool. Oh, hey, look! Anybody need lost mail? There it is. So, my husband yells at me all the time because every time I come to Dalaran Legion, I always find lost mail on one of my alts. It's a little envelope in front of the mailbox. And if you pick it up, you do a whole quest line. You can get Katie Stamp Whistle as a toy, which when you click on it, she appears and acts as a mailbox for you, so you can get mail like inside of a raid or something. And then you can also get a pet, the male elemental battle pet, to follow you around. So every alt of you, every one of your characters can do the lost mail separately on their own, and then when you finish the quest line, you get an envelope for lost mail that you can turn around and give to somebody else to get them started on the quest line. So my husband Squirk always laughs at me about every time I come on an alt to Dalaran, I find the lost mail and then do the quest line 50 million times and then give somebody the lost mail or put it in the guild bank. So anybody watching in Dalaran, if you want to come start your quest line, there you go. There's the lost mail. So this is one of the bigger cities. Dalaran's been moved a few times over the years. There's a few different versions of Dalaran. So always be careful what version of Dalaran you go into. You never know what you're gonna find. But like right here's the portal to the Shaman's Maelstrom class hall. This is the Horde area. So in the Horde zone, I think it's... Oh, nope. Where am I going? Wait a minute. There it is. So you can see the portal over here. Well, there was 2 portals, but I think that's the Paladin or the Priest.
That is the Paladin one.
I thought the Priest one was in here too, but I don't see it. I thought they were side by side for some reason. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of cool things to do in the game. There's a lot of neat little things that Blizzard have added over the years that makes it really fun for people to really enjoy the game. They've, like I said, they've added the achievements in, so you can go back and get old achievements for stuff to do different things. So there's really not a way to get bored. Some people do get burned out, and some people do, take a break from the game, and that's fine. But there is lots of things that you can also still do in the game that you might not have done yet. And you can always do the world events. Like I said, right now, Midsummer is in session, so you can do all the Midsummer stuff. But the nice thing with the world events is what they called was a long strange trip it's been, and you actually get a Violet Protodrake. So you actually get a mount for completing all of the different achievements for the different world events, which takes a year because it goes all the way from the beginning to Christmas. So it's kind of like a year-long process of completing all that stuff. But it's a lot of fun. So we're actually going to switch over. I'll switch over to a few other characters and kind of show you some stuff. Foxy! Yes, old Dalaran is a hole in the ground. You are correct. And if you don't have an ability to slow fall, you die in said hole in the ground. So this is my little Volpera Foxy Alt. So she is actually in Hellfire Peninsula, which is Burning Crusade. It's the starter zone. It is very red, very much like a Hellfire zone would be. And you can see like my nameplates and stuff are green, because if you go to talents, you can see that I actually have war mode enabled. Since we're on a not PvP server, aggroing war mode basically means that you're putting you in PvP, player versus player. And that means if I run into any alliance that is also in war mode, we can attack each other, and I can potentially die. But the benefits is, as you can see, the quest rewards and experience are increased by 10% while I'm in war mode. And I believe it's actually a higher percentage on the alliance side because there's more Horde than alliance on this server. So to balance it out, the alliance actually, I think they get like 25%. Which is a huge increase on top of that. So you can also change specializations here if you want to be something different, and you can also change your talent. So as long as you're in like an inn or a rested area, you can see they got little Z's right here. They're very tiny, but that means I'm in a rested area. That means I can change my talents around to whatever I want to change them to. And I just thought of something I was going to say, and then I forgot it again. Wow, I like spaced out. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Is it related to Burning Crusade?
No. I don't think so. No, I thought of it when I was talking about war mode, and then I totally spaced out.
PvP?
Oh. I got it. I remember now. Wow. So, no, I thought about it when I was talking about war mode because of the increased XP. So, the other thing you can do in game is you can buy what's called heirlooms, and then you can upgrade your heirlooms. And when you buy the heirlooms and upgrade them, as you can see, the Tattered Dread Mist Mask, I've upgraded it 4 times, so it goes all the way from level 1 to level 120. Parentheses is 64, because that's what level I'm currently in. But just by wearing that piece of equipment, I get 10% gain of experience. So having a full set of heirlooms on, I get 10% for my helm, 10 for the shoulders, 5 for the cloak, 10 for the chest, 10 for the legs. And then they also have rings, which I don't have because I'm not that cool, trinkets that help you out, and weapons that help you out, although they don't increase your XP. So when you wear a full set of heirlooms, plus having war mode on, leveling has gotten super quick. But heirlooms is one of those things that it takes time and money to acquire, because they can get pretty expensive, especially to upgrade them all. So it's kind of like, it's a benefit for those that have been playing WoW for a while to get their alts and stuff leveled up, but a new player isn't really going to have access to heirlooms or anything, which is kind of sad. But like I said earlier, just keep an eye out for the Darkmoon Fair. Different events too, like is there one here? I'm looking, hold on, I don't see one here. There is a different holiday events also do stuff. So the Midsummer Festival, which is what we're in right now, you can see all the little braziers and all the decorations. There are like May poles around in the major cities, and you can dance around the maypole and you get an hour buff that increases your experience and stuff gained too. So you might want to make sure you check all that stuff out when you can, to help you level up faster if you want to. And on the opposite side of the token, if you really want to see, if you don't want to level up, you can actually turn off XP gains as well and not level if you want to stay at a certain level for a while, either to participate in regular PvP or, you know, anything like that. Yeah, leveling has gotten much faster with WoW, because of all the buffs and stuff they put in the game and the heirlooms. And then the other nice thing that they have done is that they've actually scaled all the zones. So back in the day, it used to be that you had to start out on a specific zone, and when you got to a certain level, the quests would gray out and they wouldn't give you XP anymore. So whether or not you finished all the quests in that zone, you had to go on to another zone to keep getting XP. They've actually changed all that, so now all the old world zones in Kalimdor, Eastern Kingdoms, like the original 1 through 60s, they all run basically 1 through 60 or 20 through 60 for some of the higher level zones. So you can actually stay in the same zone and keep getting XP for those quests until you finish all the quest lines in that zone, and then you can go pick a different zone that you want to quest in. I've also done the same thing with expansions. So after you finish and hit 60, you can have your choice of either doing the Burning Crusade zones, like going to Hellfire, or you can skip that and you can go to Wrath of the Lich King and start in Wrath of the Lich King zones at level 90, and you can do those through those levels. So you can go back and forth, and then once you get past the level cap of where Wrath of the Lich King was, then you have a choice. You can go to you know, Pandera, or you can start in Cataclysm zones, you know. So they've really given an option for people leveling alts now, so that you don't have to run the same zones and same quests every single time, which is actually, I find that very nice, and it because it gives us more of a variety, and you don't get stuck with the same stuff all the time.
You can also level entirely through PvP. You can also level entirely through dungeons. Like I have a Toon on the Alliance side that has never stepped foot out of Stormwind, and he's already like 58. There's more choice than ever these days.
So I'm doing the ribbon dance. Experience gained from killing monsters increased by 10%. The longer you dance around the pole, the higher the buff goes, and it caps at 60. So I'm doing a fire dance. And the other thing is that during these events, you can actually get XP for like throwing the fire into the bonfire. So you can get little flowers during this event that you can then throw into a bonfire to celebrate the fire festival. And it's actually a quest, and you get quite a bit of XP for it. So if you're questing through a zone and you see one, you want to stop and do it real quick, because it doesn't take very much to do it. But yeah, so those are some benefits too. Like during Halloween, you can go to all the inns and click on a candy bucket. You get candy. Sometimes you get tricked instead of treated, which is actually quite funny. But all of that gives XP and stuff too. But what I'm gonna do is, and I know we've talked about a bunch of these games and how to do stuff. There's some tips and tricks. But for some people that might be watching that maybe have never really played WoW, and you're kind of like, oh, this is all nice and fun, but what does it actually look like to play endgame? We're actually gonna go through what do we call a Mythic Dungeon. So dungeons have normal mode, heroic mode, and mythic mode when you get to max level. And so we're actually gonna do Mythic Freehold real quick. It's a pretty quick dungeon, but it'll kind of give you an idea of what the gameplay is really like when you get into like a 5-man and you have other people helping you. And you can kind of see what it's like to pull trash mobs and boss mobs, and kind of what the difference is on fights and trying to do mechanics and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see if I can find some people to help. But I'm going to switch specs here. So this is my main raiding character. You can see I'm on Vallani, which is my demon hunter. I have my DPS spec and my tank spec. So another thing Blizzard has built in, which we used to have to do with add-ons, is called the equipment manager. You can see that I have a DPS spec already set up. I'll get you in a second, Fez. I have a DPS spec. It's set to auto trigger, so if I go into DPS, it'll set this equip a gear. Then what you'll see is when I go to Vengeance, it'll automatically equip what my tank set of gear is. And you can see my Warglaves changed because they look differently in my tank spec. So let's see. This is the Blizzard Ui Friendslist social. This is actually kind of cool. I'm gonna steal Airbuck for me. Steal Fezgig. So these are all Battlenet friends, either through Battlenet or people that I've made friends with. And then you can invite them. If they're playing Horde side, you can see I can invite them to the game. If they're playing on Alliance side, it's grayed out because you can't invite cross faction. And then it also tells you if they're playing Classic. So you can see here someone that's playing Classic. And you can send them messages through Battlenet. Doesn't matter what side they're on. You can also see like Lily is one of our raid healers. He's playing Overwatch right now. And then you can have favorites. So these are like your best friends, people you talk to all the time. Stuff like that. You can get a quick glance at them too. So I need 2 more DPS. Let's see who I can find. Anybody want to volunteer to DPS? I'm gonna post something in guild chat.
I'm asking Fuzzy.
Oh, that's cool. So what you can't see is what I was typing in guild chat. It's hidden. I have it hidden behind a banner. And mostly that is because you never know what somebody says in guild chat, or like I'm an officer of the guild, you never know what pops up in officer chat. So you'll see most streamers tend to hide their chat windows so that you can't see what happens in case something, you know, comes up or happens. But you can see I have some quests over here that I was working on earlier, and then you can also track achievements. So like right now I have raiding with leashes tracked, because some of them I only have a few pets left to go for those achievements, so I was kind of working on those, but I can also toggle them on and off. As you can see, they summoned me to the instant. Did you get a hold of Fuzzy?
He didn't respond.
Alright. I'll see if I can find somebody. Loading screens, loading screens. So, all the dungeons and raids have what they call a meeting stone. So this is the one for Freehold. Freehold is actually in the Alliance area for Battle for Azeroth. But you just need 2 people to the meeting stone, and then you can summon the rest of your party members there. I think Mez said she would come. Hey, Squishy Twitchy. Nice. How are you? How is everybody on Twitch doing? Hello.
I got 1 DPS coming.
Oh, okay. I think Mez whispered me too. Who do you have coming?
Mistrath. Filthy casual.
Let's see. Dungeon difficulty. Oh, it is a mythic. Hey. I apologize for my phone ringing right in the middle of that.
That's okay, we blame Spork.
Yeah, something like that.
She's my wife.
Who's coming? You said Mist was coming? I'm patiently waiting.
He just, he was on the line soon. He'll be here in a minute.
I'm gonna go scope this out. So you can see here's the portal to the instance. That's what that is. And you can, like I said, up here you can change the dungeon difficulty, the raid difficulty, resetting instances. No, we are not doing a plus 10 or plus 12 ARD.
Do it for the gram.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Alright, so this is Freehold. This is a pirate den of pirateness. So, as you can see in a 5-man, a typical 5-man dungeon, you're going to have a tank, which is what role I'm playing, a healer, which is Airbuck, and then 3 DPS. So what a tank does is a tank basically holds aggro on everything, so everything hits the tank. The healer obviously heals everybody, hopefully, and then the DPS just shoots and kills, basically. Oh, I forgot to change my sigil.
It's too far away.
Barnacle bottomed swine. This is great.
Barnacle bottomed swine.
For those of you that regularly play WoW, you can see how large my corruption circle is.
What are you at?
55 in my thing spec.
I need to get closer. I can't attack that target.
What's your cloak at?
12.
So one of the things that we're just chatting about here casually is with this you get when you get 120 you get a legendary cloak and it contains corruption resistance so that you can do more damage and have more corruption and live.
So this whole expansion towards the end here is a Nazoth, which is one of the old gods, and he's corrupting everybody and everything. So the cloak is something we got from Wrathion, and it helps with the corruption resistance, so it resists all the corruption from Nazoth. But certain items in the game, equipment and stuff, has corruption on it, and it gives you benefits if you leave the corruption on. So like, my boots have 12 corruption, my spells and abilities have a chance to show the inevitable truth, increasing the rate of cooldown recovery by 30%.
Watch your feet.
Or like, my wrists have 75 corruption, and my attacks have a chance to trigger a beam of Twilight Devastation, dealing damage equal to 18% of my health to all enemies in front of me. As a tank, my health pool is very big, and that's a lot of damage.
I need to get closer. Nothing back.
If you see that giant blue laser beam across my screen, the blue-purple, that's Twilight Dev.
It's so pretty.
The downside is the more corruption you have, the more bad things happen to you. So I'm at 55, which means I get Grasping Tentacles, which has a chance to slow me. I have Corruption, which is the big circle that does damage to me every 2 seconds. And Grand Delusions, which means I have a chance to proc a thing from beyond, which is something that looks like me and runs towards me and then it explodes for a bunch of damage.
So what is your total equipped corruption resistance right now?
My base corruption is 107, my resistance is 52.
And so I've been doing the quests and the visions, and so my cloak is 15 and my corruption resistance is 90. So I can have quite a bit more corruption without having to deal with the negative effects because of the end game content.
I don't know if you caught it on the stream, but I just had a thing from beyond hit me. What's really fun is when my thing from beyond procs when my meta procs, and then it looks like a big giant demon chasing me. Because that's always fun.
I don't mind. I don't heal her normally.
Thanks for that.
Well, I don't heal DOA.
The sad part is I actually have a bag full of gear that has all kinds of corruption on it to where I could equip more corruption if I could. Wow, that dude is slower than crap.
I'm out of range.
I heard the captains are meeting. If we get into that gathering, we cut off all the heads from this Hydra at once.
Not even fish drink like the field rats.
You keep up with this suit, Captain Yodoro will want you at that meeting. If you get an invitation, this job will be easy.
So, low-level dungeons and stuff run on the basic same principle. You have a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS. Obviously, the health and damage output of the NPCs adjusts to whatever your level is for the dungeon that you're doing. So, you're not always going to be fighting, you know, level 120 elites as a level 15. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. So at level 10, when you start a new character, when you hit level 10, you can actually change your talents at that point and pick, if say like on my warlock, I started off as affliction, but I want to be demonology because I want a pet and demonology gives us demons. So at level 10, that's when you can start switching your talent and stuff around. Hunters, I believe, is when you get the ability to tame a new pet. And stuff like that. When you hit level 15, that's when you can start queuing for dungeons. So that lets you use the group finder ability. You can use the dungeon finder. You can pick different dungeons. You can pick specific dungeons in the dungeon list, and that lets you randomly queue for a dungeon. So you don't have to do like what we did and find, you know, 4 more people in guild chat. They also have Raid Finder now where you can queue for raids. So you can see the different raids from this expansion, the different wings of the raid. You can queue for them. And the Raid Finder is a little bit easier than doing it on regular raid mode, and you get, the gear is a little bit less, eye level. But it's also a good way to get gear to get ready for a raid and to just kind of practice the mechanics of the fight. Did you guys drink the Bildrat grog? Because...
Nope.
Yep. Everybody needs to go up and drink one. You should have a Bildrat brew buff on your bar if you don't already have one. So the weird thing about Freehold is this first mechanic that we're talking about, where everybody has to drink a brew or something like that, is an actual mechanic of the instance. So the first thing that we have to do is, I had it buff and now my buff is gone. Nope, I do have the buff. Who doesn't have the buff yet? I think Mist doesn't have the buff yet, Eric. So Mist and Tarski need to get it. So anyway, this is the Court of the Crossbones. So you got the 3 captains right here. So when you come in, we drink the brew, and what happens is one of the captains is friendly, and we only have to fight the other 2. Sometimes you come in, and then you have to chase a dog with a key, reminiscent of Pirates of the Caribbean, locked in the jail. And you have to free somebody with the key, so you have to chase the dog around and get the key. And that triggers a different boss being friendly to you, and one of them turns you into a pirate. Like I'm wearing the regalia for the pirate right now. Oh, we have the regalia. We should be able to go down now. Yep, so now we can go down. So now you can see Captain Adora is green and friendly to us and not yellow like before, and now the other 2 captains are red. That means they hate us and will attack us on sight no matter what.
Charging to move right. It's too far away. Watch your step. Run. I'm out of range.
This is also a great dungeon on regular to dual box and level.
Airbug, why don't you explain what dual boxing is?
Dual boxing is where you run 2 accounts at the same time, and you have one account doing a carry and one account kind of passively gaining XP. When you're farming Zinthilid, though, it's the bane of your existence.
Yes, yes it is. Oh, I didn't even talk about that stuff. Good lord. Fairs, you should have reminded me about profession. So there are professions in the game. If you go to your spellbook, there's a tab that says professions. So, like this character has herbalism maxed, inscription maxed, cooking maxed, fishing maxed. Apparently not for archaeology because I'm a fail archaeologist. There used to be a first aid where you can make bandages. They have since taken that out of the game and given it to Taylor. So there's what they call gathering professions: herbing, mining, skinning. That sort of thing. And then there's the crafting ones. So you have your engineering, blacksmithing, leatherworking, tailoring, enchanting, that sort of thing. And so like
jewel crafting.
Jewel crafting. So tailoring lets you make like cloth items for clothies to wear. Leatherworking makes leather and mail. Blacksmithing makes plate and weapons.
I can't attack that.
Inscription lets you make like scrolls that do things.
And weapons too.
And offhand weapons. So they can be a benefit to doing it, but you don't have to do professions. You can always pick whatever profession you want. Pirates and more pirates, thank you.
I need to get closer.
And it just kind of depends. Like, some people like to put certain professions together just because they make sense, like skinning and leatherworking. Skinning obviously gets the leathers for leatherworking. Tailoring does really well with enchanting because you get cloth just from killing humanoid NPCs, which you can make tailoring, and then anything that's a green level item or higher can be disenchanted, and then the mats from disenchanting you can use to make enchanting. Personally though, I really like engineering. Not that it's like super useful, but it makes all kinds of fun gadgets and gizmos. Which I really like. I really find that a lot of fun to do.
Dangerous, the slightly unkempt, the band of smelly buccaneers. And entering the ring, we have the amazing, the incredible, the magnificent, the what the really? It's a greased up pig? I'm beginning to think this is not a professional setup. Ah, well, grab the pig and you win.
Oh, grab the pig. Woohoo! Why Blizzard thought putting a greased up pig as a boss fight, I don't know. Woohoo! We caught a pig.
I don't think I've ever caught the pig before.
Really?
Nope. Granted, I normally run this with shamans and people who run fast.
It's also so funny when you carry the pig around.
He is the dynamo of defense.
I've seen things that would scare you,
Welcome back, Coochie.
Hey, Gussie. We're fighting a turtle. Yes, thank you, Seema, for reminding me. You actually get XP from herbing and mining, just for herbing nodes and mining the nodes. So if you're trying to like mass level and alt super quickly, do take the gathering professions and your heirlooms and all that other stuff, and you get like massive amounts of XP.
Back in Pandaria, there was a pacifist who leveled entirely through herbing and mining.
Also, I still maintain that the shark puncher sharks need to be fist weapons equipable in game. Blizzard, make it happen. I hope you can see this on the stream because he's literally punching me with sharks. Live sharks. Live sharks. Keep that in mind.
I mean, that's where the left shark should be, right? The left and the right shark.
You can see the sharks chasing somebody over there.
Flop, 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 flop. There he goes.
Oh, there goes the other shark.
It's too far away.
So, the actual mechanic of this dungeon is if you chase the shark chases you, you run it through one of the pools of blood, and it gets stunned in place for a while.
Is he eating blood?
I don't know, is it chum? What is he throwing?
I need to get closer.
I'm just imagining the lore reason why a shark would stop, but the pool does get smaller while it's in there, so I think it's nomming it up.
Could be. Yeah, I really like this dungeon with Freehold and the pirates. I think they really did a good job with it. And actually, Freehold is a zone in the Alliance area. Like, you can actually visit the town and everything and talk to the pirates. There's quests here on both Horde and Alliance side. So it's not just the instance. I hit the wrong button.
Never! You're just demonstrating something.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's too far away.
I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but I had shared a piece of gear I got with Tar. So the other thing they changed is that loot is now shareable with party members that are eligible for it. So since it was a higher item gear that he needed and I didn't, I went ahead and gave it to him. And so you can trade it. So gear you can trade cross-realm with people that were in your dungeon, but you can't trade things like consumables like flasks and potions and stuff, which kind of sucks, but at least you can trade the gear you don't need.
Defensive.
The other thing with AIE is if you decide that, you're having fun, you want to, join us and come out every Saturday night at, was it 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific, we have New Braid, which typically they clear about 6-7 bosses in whatever the current raid zone is.
Yeah, so New Braid does a really good job of introducing people to raiding. There's no eye level requirement or anything. It's just to help people see what types of raid, what the raid is like, and teach them how to run it, which is really kind of cool. Kenny is running it. But we've actually gotten so big with New Braid that we have 2 raid teams. So I lead the second raid team, and last night we had a full 28-30 people. 30 is the max for a raid. And I'm not sure how many Kenny had in hers, but I'm sure she probably had just about the same amount too. Oh, Prime got 7. Awesome. We got 5 in Alpha last night. So Prime got 7 bosses down and Alpha got 5 bosses down. But Alpha, we kind of started a little late because we were doing time walking Illidan and I didn't get in raid in time because I didn't. I'm sorry.
Killed Illidan.
We did kill Illidan, which was awesome. We got him down on the, what was it, the second pull?
Anybody get a glaive?
No.
We had several people that switched to their demon hunters.
Katie said she thinks they had 24 last night, so yeah, the overwhelming response from New Braid is really awesome. And AIE in general, I mean, if you have any doubts at all, just ask people in Discord. I mean, we're here to help people do stuff in guild chat all the time. We have raid teams on both Horde and Alliance. We have officers on both sides that are playing all types of day and night. We have people playing from Australia to the UK, and so there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
I can't attack that target.
Ooh, I got a hat. Do I need a hat? I don't need a hat.
Is it a pirate hat?
It is the pirate's hat.
Then I think you need that.
I have it though. I already have the Transmog.
Oh, okay.
So oh, I didn't get one because I already have one. You can, well, you can't see my chat screen, but the first time you kill a Mythic Zero final boss, the first time you clear Mythic Zero, you get what's called a Mythic Keystone. So Fez just picked up this one, which is Shrine of the Storm, Mythic level 2 Fortified. I did a Mythic earlier this week. And it's not loading for some reason, but so I got Temple of Sethrus, level 8, Fortified, Sanguine, and Grievous. But what happens is that when you go to the group finder, when you get max level, there's a Mythic Keystone option down here, and it tells you what each one of these does. It basically makes the Mythic harder, and nothing drops loot until you kill the final boss, and then you get a chest. But if you finish the dungeon, whether you do it in time or not, when the reset comes on Tuesday in the Great Seal on the Horde side, you'll have a chest in the Great Seal that you open. And like, I've finished a level 6 this week, so my chest is going to contain a level 455 item. So like, the current raid tier only drops 445 gear. So that's already 10 item levels higher than what the current raid tier drops on normal mode. So as you can see, when you start getting into heroic mode, like a Mythic 7, I got a 465 piece of gear. You can start seeing you get 460s and stuff like that going on. So it's a good way to help get you leveled up, trying to get a piece of gear too. And then it also tells you what your season's bests are, like the highest ones that you've completed. So I've done a Motherload 11 overtime. I've done a Mechagon Junkyard in time, level 10. There's achievements for doing them all on different levels. And the biggest one is level... there's an achievement for doing every single one at level 15, which is silly hard to do. You have to be really geared for it and really know how to do all the dungeons. I'm not that person, so I don't do those. But anyway, so I just want to kind of show some different things in WoW, some different gameplay. You guys saw some of the starter zones, and that was a standard Mythic Dungeon that you guys saw. This is the Great Seal for the Horde, because we're with the Zandalar Trolls now. And there's all kinds of different stuff. There's all cutesy little different things to do in the game, and everything. Trying to get flying, you have to get your Pathfinders and stuff so you can fly. There's the summon random favorite mounts. You can select which one of your mounts you want as favorited, and then it will just randomly pick one. So like if you're in the water, it'll pick a water one. If you're flying, it'll pick a flying one. That sort of thing. One of the newest mounts I got is the Elusive Quickhoof, which is a llama. Alpaca. Obviously it doesn't fly, but it's cute and adorable. So so that's another thing. Anytime that you're on a mount, if it doesn't fly, if it's just a ground mount, you hit spacebar and it does what they call a mount special. So the alpacas jump around like really cutesy. But you can also just type in /mount special to make it do its mount. So if I go to the Flying Pig, which is available on the Blizzard store, and do the mount special. It kind of flies around a little bit, and then it drops and it bounces. Which is kind of adorable. And you can see it's got a little piggy bank on the back. As you walk around, little gold coins fall out of it. So they've done some really cute things. And then you can also do the same thing with pets. So if you have a favorite pet, you can summon a random favorite pet if you like to have a pet following you. Or you can go through and summon specific ones. There's all kinds of pets everywhere. And then the toy boxes are also stuff that is really kind of fun to do. So some of them are class specific, some of them you have to have certain rep or certain you know, class profession. Ooh, they just yelled for the Horde. So there's all kinds of different fun.
Hey, Sai, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot more fun going into some of the more advanced content and seeing some of the other zones. That was really cool.
Yeah. So, and definitely, yeah, take a look. There's streams going on all afternoon. There's another stream that's starting up now. People are going to be doing stuff all day today, doing different games. So definitely make sure you guys check them out. Check out the previous streams. I know Fez did the Alliance side yesterday. I think they did SOTOR yesterday. Star Wars: The Old Republic. And Kinney did ESO, Elder Scrolls Online Friday night. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. AIE is in a lot of games. Take a look at them. Check them out. If you have any questions, ask. And if you're interested in a game that you don't play, just ask the officers. A lot of us play multiple games, and if we don't know the answer, we can find the answer. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that's watching and everybody that came and helped out and, you know, added their, you know, 2 cents of fun information and all that kinds of stuff. There's really way too much stuff going on in WoW to be able to talk about it for 2 hours and only 2 hours. So I just, you know, I wanted to kind of give a broad view, and I hope you guys have fun and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you guys later. So see ya.
Thank you.